Hey yo, Shalom. All praise to Yahweh Hashem, Yahshua Hashem, Kagadash. Don't want to say apostle, all the great Millstone rule well. Shalom to the brothers out there doing the work to certain truth. It's brother, I'm on one from the GMSLondon camp. I've got two articles here which I just wanted to go into, and it's more or less just gonna be going into what's going down in Yemen. And how, the so-called white man basically, he likes to paint himself, as a righteous, as an angel of light. And like more or less, he's basically going around saving the world, from the disgusting, vile, evil terrorist scum that you have, around the world. And he's, bringing justice, democracy, and righteousness. But that's completely not what's going on in the slightest. Because, the thing is when you actually get into what the so-called, these guys, like, you be saying, look, man, you so-called white people going to slavery. They're just going to be like, but why? It's just because I'm the color of my skin, I'm going into slavery. But it's not because of the color of your skin, you monkey. It's because of your deeds, man. And that's what it's been from the beginning. The deeds of Esau. It was off from the beginning, man. Read this on The Guardian. It says UK Saudi weapons sales unlawful, Lords Committee finds. Report finds UK arms highly likely to be cause of significant civilian casualties in Yemen. So this is something I love bringing up when I'm at camp, mate. About how the UK government be selling all kinds of military, armaments, F-16s, all them things there to Saudi Arabia, and then Saudi Arabia has basically been using that to blaze off them in Yemen. And this is a so-called justice and righteousness that this society is supposed to stand for. This is what is meant to be that great. Everyone's talking about, oh yeah, we're going around saving the world with democracy, and no, okay, so what, so but then why go on for them weapon sales though? What are these weapon sales? That's why Let me read it a bit. It says the UK is on the wrong side of the law by sanctioning arms exports to Saudi Arabia for the war in Yemen, and should suspend some of the export licenses, an all-party Lords Committee has said. The report by the International Relations Select Committee says ministers are not making independent checks to see if arms supplied by the UK are being used in breach of the law, but is instead relying on inadequate investigations by Saudis, its allies in the war. It's described the humanitarian plight of Yemenis as unconscionable. And this trying to say, oh well, God, they said they're not using it. The thing is these guys know, man. Everyone knows, and this Esau, he just loves that money, man. Making that cash money. That's why, as long as he's getting that money, kids get blown. Well, we need the funding. Says it is the first unanimous report from a parliamentary committee describing the Saudi arms exports sales as unlawful, and comes ahead of an imminent High Court appeal by campaigners to block arms sales to Saudi Arabia on the grounds that they are in breach of humanitarian law. I'm Saudi's blowing them Yemenis up, man. And there's gonna be Jakes over there as well. Them Saudis are basically just puppets. But the thing is okay. It says the report places no legal obligation on ministers, but is likely to add indirectly to the pressure on Saudi Arabia and the UAE to seek a way out of the war in Yemen through negotiation, rather than further military offensives to dislodge Houthi rebels in the capital Sana'a and the port city of Hodeidah. Although Apache ceasefire holds around Hodeidah, Saudi airstrikes are reported by the Yemen Data Project to be at the most intensive since the 4-year civil war began in Sa'ada. governorate along the border between Yemen and Saudi Arabia. The US Congress voted earlier this week to suspend the US arms sales to Saudi Arabia for use in Yemen, but the White House has signaled the president will veto the resolution if necessary. So this is Esau, this is America as well, and just over here and other countries don't be making themselves. Esau's basically, and Esau's basically the merchant of death, man. He's the merchant of death. He's basically selling death to everyone, man. You watch Lord of War, and you go into Lord of War. In Lord of War, these guys going in breaking down how basically artists like it was after the Cold War ended. Was it after the Cold War? No, it was after World War II. I think it was during the Cold War, actually. I'm not too sure. I cannot remember the timeline. I think it was during and leading up to the end of the Cold War. It might have been the fucking end of the Cold War. 1981, that would kind of make sense. So I think after the Soviet Union collapsed, I think they just had a shit. He just was basically linking up with Russia, sending a shitload of tanks, AKs, all these to warlords in Africa, Asia, all these different places. He was just going there making money, man, and it was sanctioned by the US government. Because at the end, when you had what's his name, Ethan Hawke, I think his name is, the guy from fucking Training Day, the white boy, them. When he caught him, the military came in and said, "Yeah, man, you did a great job, but we're gonna have to let this guy go." Then let him go, and he went back to doing his job. So Esau, the thing is this was what's above, this was these cells that you see here, these ones being reported in the news. That's what's above board. You've got the ones that are the grimy cells that go on below board. They're even worse, and Esau's funding different criminal organizations, different so-called terrorists. He's gonna be saying, "Oh, these terrorists, this, terrorists, that." He's gonna be saying all that, but then he's actually there funding and backing all these things, man. And Esau's getting exposed in these ting them, cause like so this is on Sputnik. Most of it's about fucking Venezuela, which I don't really want to get into at the minute. But it says what? Okay, so they're just baiting out how Venezuela, that guy, what's his name? Guaido. The so-called true president of Venezuela. That guy's a fucking puppet. I'll probably do a video on that as well, because that shit is just too obvious. If you're sitting there thinking that's not a puppet government, then I don't know, man. You need to unlatch your mouth from Esau's cock, and then just think about it for 2 seconds, man. Because it's evident. You just look at where the fuck that guy's in America. All of it. Oh, I'm the true president. Nigga's 35. When the fuck was the last time you had a president that was even under fucking 50, man? Or even 45, man. Nigga's 35. Negro, please, man. So it says what? Okay, so it says so I'll skip down a lot. It says the infernal pandemic suffering in Yemen is barely reported by the Western news media, save for the occasional report, which is usually shorn of any meaningful context. Yet the situation is incomparably more urgent than what's occurring in Venezuela, which is true. Them guys, it's 4-year war. Them guys been getting blown up by by planes sold by the UK and US governments. Kids, schools, hospitals, just blow it all up, man. Them crazy Arabs ain't got no control, man. So that's and all of it is happening because it's basically being supplemented by the West. Who are saying, "Oh, righteous blah." These guys are talking about, okay, these Saudis as well. Just as another point, the West is saying, "Oh, we're they're trying to push transgenderism, homosexuality." Them Arabs are chopping off homosexuals' heads. Adulteresses are getting annihilated. But then, but the West is still doing them deals. That means it's not about standards. They're basically just, Esau just loves money and power. That's it, man. He don't care about no justice or right. He doesn't actually have any standards. He just wants to have control and money, man. That's why they have the quote, man. Give me control of a nation's money. I care not who makes the laws, man. Yeah. Okay. So it says, there are no plane loads of food and medicine arriving in the US landing in Yemen. There are a few anguished calls in Western media about imminent deaths of children and mothers. Yeah, you know, Esau all of a sudden just, all these starving, 300,000. But then, bro, Yemen, I'll bring it. No one's talking about no goddamn Yemen. No one's going no Yemen. These guys aren't talking about justice or righteousness or order. It's just about interests, mate. Interests. That's what we put in the media circus. The new circus of wheels is going to come round, and then whatever the interests of the elite banking elites are, that's what you're going to be hearing about in the news, man. Come on, man. It's Esau. Esau ain't righteous. This so-called white man ain't righteous. He ain't just. He's an off-wicked piece of shit, man. That's why, and these are his acts. You know, it's not because he's white, which he ain't white. He's red. He's the red man. Esau, Edom. It's because his acts. You know, blowing up kids. You know, how you gonna be funding planes to blow up some kids, man? And then you saying, oh, righteous, justice. Come on, man. And it says what? And there's gonna be Jakes in there as well, getting blown up, man. So then you're taking that sin. You know, you touch Jake, the Lord will get you. So it says what? No, all of the concern and drama has been focused on Venezuela, where, although our country is in turmoil, there are no skeletal children, nor massive numbers of babies dying from cholera and preventable diseases as in Yemen. Why aren't CNN, BBC, France 24, and so on bringing daily reports from on the ground in Yemen and making those reports top of their news bulletins? Why isn't the US government mobilizing millions of dollars in aid and emergency food shipments to Yemen, where a number of hungry civilians are incomparably greater? The answer is plain. The US and the Western allies do not care about humanitarian suffering. Neither do Western news media, who are obviously led by their noses. It is propaganda pretense. Yeah. So Esau, you know, when he's getting into these things, all he's thinking about is his rule, about his interests, man. It always comes down to the interests at the end of the day, man. Those so-called white men, all about them interests. That's what you be taking care of. The interests. Let me read this, man. Habakkuk 2. And 4 says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. So yeah, Esau's the soul upright in him is the soul which is lifted up, and he's not upright, man. He's off within himself. That's why he lacks. That's why you can talk about justice, righteousness, doing the right thing, but then he lacks the capacity to do it. It says what? Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as deaf. Yeah, he's a proud man. He transgresses by that wine, that what's the word? You know, philosophies. You've got everyone drunk on all these crazy, mad philosophies. You got men chopping their rods off, saying, "Oh, I'm a woman now, Negro, please." I said, Steve, take off the dress and sort your fucking life out, mate. Says he's a proud man, neither keeper of at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell. That's why you got Esau's got his fingers in pies all over the world. US has got military bases all over the place. You know, why are arms being sold to every corner of the globe, man? A lot. You go to a lot of these different police forces and militaries over the world. 9 times out of 10, they're using West. They're going to be using French, American, Israeli, Italian weaponries, man. Some Berettas, some Glocks, you know, hecklers and Koches, Germans. I can't forget them Germans. Basically the weaponry and the technology you're going to be using is going to be like Western built and designed, you know, like guns and shotguns, grenade launchers, all these different things, and sold, you know, to fucking Thailand security, like police and security and military forces, man. They're gonna have contracts with Western companies, man. So Esau's the one. He's basically got the globe all over. He's running that, man. It says what he gathered, but gathereth unto himself. No, gathereth unto him all nation, and heapeth unto him all people. This is going around. He grabbed up everyone. He's got everyone coming to the west in this melting pot, man. It says what? Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taught him proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long unto him that laveth himself with fit clay. So yeah, basically, so-called white man's increased that which is not his. All these different lands he's gone into. America's a big one. America's not his land. He's gone there. Europe's not his land. He's gone there. You go to the inheritance of Europe, that belongs to Japheth. And the Lord basically, he set up the table of nation. He set up the lands. So everyone's going to have their fucking lands, man. Holy shit. You know, Israel right now, you've got some imposters in Israel. That needs to be rectified, man. And it says, and it says, what, shall not all these take up a parable and a taught and proverb against him? So all these nations are basically looking to revenge themselves upon Esau. You know, Esau likes to bring up that, oh, Japan didn't apologize for raping China. I'm like, well, Esau apologized for all his shit, but does that mean he's not going to get judged? Who gives a shit about motherfucking apology, man? When the judgment comes, who gives a fuck? you know, you can say sorry, but you ain't repented. You've worsened in your wickedness, man. So what the hell is the point of some, oh yeah, I'm sorry about that. Sorry about blowing up Japan. Nuking Japan. Yeah, we fucked up Nagasaki. Sorry about that. But I'll do it again. It says, shall not they rise up suddenly who shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them. Yeah, so basically all these guys are going to wake up one day, and the Lord's going to put the spirit on them. Because just like with Russia, with Russia, you've got the the hook's been put in their jaw, and you know Putin's been put up there, and he's run that shit like Soviet Russia life, mate. He's bringing back the old USSR, man, that old empire, man, the CCCP, or however the fuck you say it in Russian, man. I don't know, man. But he's bringing back the old empire, because the Lord's basically gonna have. That's what the Lord's having come through. And it says what? Because thou shalt have spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee, because of men's blood, and for violence of the land, of the sea, and of all that dwell therein. So that's what, you know, Yemen's just an example I'm using. But this is the reason why judgment's coming, man. Because Esau, throughout his history, he spoiled many lands, nations, peoples. And that's remembered, man. You know, you just have to wonder, why in the fuck, you can go into America, you know, it's all a bunch of fucking white people. Then you're gonna be like, what the hell are all these fucking black-faced niggas and these Native Americans doing here? Then you go into history and you're gonna find out that a land was robbed, you know, a people were robbed from their land and taken to another place. So, and then you're like, wow, and they're just, oh, and okay, nothing's happened. Wow, that's intense. That means a judgment must needs be coming, man. And that's how, you know, that's what's gonna go down. Because the thing is Esau's more or less, he's trying to have it, his cake and eat it. But mate, you can't have your cake and eat it. You know, you had the cake, you had the cake. So now you got to pay for that, mate. But yeah, I'll leave it there, man. All praise to Yahweh Hashem, Yahshua Hashem, Kakadash. Double honor to the Apostle of this GreatMillStone, man. Shalom, shalom.